morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself, Vaibhav. In today's session of Visual JForex, we will be continuing with the indicator named Laguerre ACS. This is the second part, and today the focus is going to be on completing the buy side of the equation. I will be explaining to you how you can design and develop the algorithmic system using this indicator to execute the trades in a profitable manner, which will also be in line with the trend. So if the trend is bullish, we will be looking to initiate the buy trade. If the trend is bearish, we will be, of course, looking to initiate the sell trades. And this is in the spirit of trend is your friend. So let us now get to the work with Visual JForex board, which has been developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. In the last session, I had finished the setup so far, which included this instrument subscription with the default instrument being Euro USD. After that, the position amount was defined as 0. All the positions pending and the open positions included should be equal to 0. Only then the new trade will be placed. The blocks have been added, 4 blocks of Laguerre ACS1 with varying time period and shift values have been added. First one is of 4 hourly candle period and latter 3 are of hourly each. The difference is in these shift values. The look back period here is 1, in this case 2, and for this candle it is 6, and I will be explaining to you why that is the way. And to look at the price volatility, we are also taking the help of this cluster of 4 hourly candles to retrieve the individual variables amongst this array of data. This loop viewer has been added, and to look for the immediate price action prior to the trade, we are also taking the help of this single get historical candle, and to pinpoint the entry point, these 10-second blocks will be used. Now let us take a refresher of what the logic is going to be for any buy trade to be initiated. We want to be trading with the trend, and for that we will be relying on the 4 hourly time period as our preferred criteria to determine the trend. And in this we need the momentum to be bearish, and for that we are using the classical interpretation of this 0.5 as the dividing line. If we have the Laguerre ACS value above 0.5, we will consider it as bullish. It will be considered conducive for the buy trade. And if it is below the 50, then of course it will be the turn of sell trade. And today the focus is on the buy side, so we will simply limit our discussion to the buy side of the equation and the values above 0.5. We need the last 4 hourly Laguerre ACS blocks output value to be 0.5, and we are not really concerned if the value is at 1 or whether it is declining or rising. All we need it is to remain above 0.5, and that is the only criterion on the 4 hourly candle period. And then we turn our gaze on the lower time frame of hourly. Here we need the setup to be favorable enough. For that we are taking the help of this overbought oversold scenario. We want to initiate the trade after having seen considerable correction and consolidation, and after that whenever we have the possibility of the underlying instrument resuming its trend as per the 4 hourly setup, we will be looking to initiate the trade. So in this case, as we have the momentum on the bullish side as per the 4 hourly time frame, we will be looking to initiate the buy trade. As we can see here, significant amount of correction had happened, and after that correction the consolidation happened where this Laguerre ACS value remained in oversold territory for a considerable amount of time, and as the value started to rise, we will be looking to initiate the trade. So that is the logic. So it takes help of all the three parameters. We are trading with the trend, and we are also taking the help of overbought and oversold scenario, and accordingly we are looking to initiate the trade. In addition to that, we are also relying on the price action. So whatever is the volatility in last 4 hours, We will take the difference of high and the low value for last 4 hours. We will take half of it and we will be placing a limit order. So whatever is the last tick price, we will deduct the half of the difference of the high and low over last 4 hours from it and place the order which will remain valid for next 4 hours. So that is how the setup is going to be defined. And of course, we will need the last hourly candle to have closed with gains. It should have closed with gains. Its closing value will need to be higher than its opening value. And on the Laguerre ACS side, we will initiate the trade as soon as the output value for the last hourly candle rises above zero point 0.1, whereas for the penultimate hour, the Laguerre ACS value was below zero point 0.1, and 6 hours back it should have been equal to 0. It should not be anything else. We will place it firmly at 0. That will mean the underlying instrument has spent good enough amount of time in this overbought scenario, and only now recently we are seeing fresh buying momentum. So now is the time to go and place the buy trade. So that's how the logic is going to be. So now let us head to the Visual JForex board. We will start the addition in setup using the calculation expression block. First I will calculate the actual difference between the highest and the lowest value over last 4 hours. So for that we have to take HLC, which is the area of data. From it we will have to retrieve the variable, which we can do from here. All the variables created for this area of data are listed here and you can take help of it. We need HLC candle high and deduct the HLC candle low from it. So we get the actual difference, whatever is the difference. We will take it. We will also make our stop loss and target price dynamic. So whatever is the actual difference, we can place the stop loss in proportion of that. You can take the stop loss as actual difference, or you can take it half of it or 25% of it, or whatever proportion you want to define as per your assessment. This calculation is going to be A1 minus A2. Okay, and this will be actual difference of the hourly cluster. And of it we have to take the half value to define the price point for the entry. So I will add one more calculation expression block. ADHC, and we create a new variable. Just a minute. Sugar. Uh, Thank you. Good night. Sorry for the interruption. That was from hotel reception. So let us now resume our setup, and here the start value will be 2. I will name this as a multiplier. Okay, we take this new variable and divide the actual difference by 2. So A1 divided by A2, and we get a new variable here, half of AD. Okay, after having created this variable, we will have to get one more calculation done, in which we will deduct this value from the last tick price to arrive at the entry point for the initiation of the trade. So we need on tick, last tick price. We will take tick bid and deduct half of the difference. So we will again have to do A1 minus A2. So this is going to be A1, sorry, new variable will be named the buy entry point. And for order validity, we will have to create new variable, which we will do once we get the trade command block in place. For that, I will add calculation expression as of now, but actual calculation we will do once we get that block. Okay, now let us get a multiple action logical block. For the time being, I will join it here, but if the need arises and we have to add more blocks for defining additional conditions, we can always disconnect it and join it back later on. Okay, now let us start adding the conditions for the execution of the trade. So we are going to need this if blocks, if else statements. I don't know how many. I will add 6, 7 in this attempt. If the need arises, we will add more later on. Now coming to the output value, we need values 11 to be greater than 0.5, 0.5. Okay, so first input greater than second input. All right, after that we have to consider the output values of these hourly Laguerre ACS1 block. We need the last hourly output value to be above 0.1. So values 15 need to be greater than 0.1. So first input greater than second input. For the penultimate hour, the output value of the Laguerre ACS1 will need to have been below 0.1. So value is 16 will need to be less than 0.1. Okay, first input less than second input. And coming to the output value of the Laguerre ACS1 6 hours back, we need it to have been equal to 0. This time it is equals to first input equals second input. With this, we have defined the conditions involving the Laguerre ACS indicator. Now we will have to turn our gaze on the price action. Prior to that, let me arrange these conditions on the lower side. We need the last hourly candle to have closed with gains. So we have to consider the relation between the closing and the opening value of candle 19, which is the last hourly candle. We need candle 19 candle close to be greater than candle 19 candle close. Candle 19 candle open. Auto created variable. Candle 19 candle close needs to have been greater than candle 19 candle open. Okay. So with this, almost all of our conditions revolving around the output value of the Laguerre ACS1 and the price action are in place. Now the entry point is going to be the not the entry point, the initiation point for placing the order is going to be the closing value of last hourly candle. As and when we see the price starts to rise above the closing value of candle 19, we will look to initiate the trade. In this case, the first input need to be greater than second input. And again, the candle 19 candle close will be the common input. So we have to take this value as the common input in both these blocks and take candle 21 and candle 22nd closing values. We need the candle 21 to close on the higher side compared to the closing value of candle 19, and candle 22nd should have closed lower as it has a look back period of 2, and that will be the time when the trade will be initiated. So in this case, candle 19 candle close, first input greater than second input, and after that, in case of candle 22nd candle close, will need to have been lower. So after this, we get the trade command block. Pending open. There is going to be a limit order by limit, as we will be placing the order below the market price. So it is called the limit order. First input less than second input. Now, some of the calculations which we have done earlier will come handy to fulfill these parameters of the trade command block. Coming to the entry point, the price is going to be this calculation in which we have deducted half of the difference of the highest and the lowest point over last 4 hours from the last tick bid, and that will be our point of entry for the buy trade. Default instrument remains as it is. Trade amount I will change to 0.1 million. Slippage is going to be 2 pips. Now, as I said, we can make the stop loss and target price dynamic. For that, all we have to do is decide on which parameter we want the stop loss and take profit to be best. Suppose if you want to simply take this calculation result, the half of the actual difference between the highest and the lowest price, and take it as a stop loss, you can do that. All you have to do is add one more calculation expression block. Okay, we will need two because we also have to calculate take profit, and in this we take the difference, half of the difference, and multiply it with the pip conversion factor, which will convert this double value, the value in double format, to the integer. That's the only thing we need, and for that we have to multiply this output value with the 10 raised to the power 4, that means 10,000. So I have to create a new variable named pip conversion factor. Okay, I'll save it, and this will be A1 into A2, and I will create a new variable here named stop loss SL, and its value will be derived from this calculation. We will take the stop loss and multiply it with 2 and get the risk reward ratio in 1:2, and we already have a variable with the value of 2 ml, so I will take ml and again do the same calculation, A1 into A2, and we get our target price defined in a dynamic manner, EP. Okay, then we have to carry out one more calculation to define the order validity, which I said we will define at 4 hours. So for that we need the last tick time, whatever is the time we have to take into consideration and add 4 hours to it. For that we'll need to create two more variables. I will name first TT, which will have the ticks included in 1 hour. 3.6 million ticks are there in 1 hour. Most probably I'm right with this, and if I'm not, you can point it out. And this will need to be multiplied with a new variable with start value of 4. Okay, so it becomes A1 plus A2 into A3. And here we will have to create the variable in long data type. So I will create the variable here, which will be named OVT. And I will place this variable to the result of the calculation. Alright. So with this, we have defined all the required mandatory parameters for this trade command block. And now we are ready to join it to multiple action. And I will place this trade command block on the lower side. So with this, our buy side requirements, the conditions have been defined. Only if these conditions get fulfilled, the buy side trade, the buy trade will be placed. And in next session, we will be trying to complete the sell side. We will see how we can design and develop the system in a symmetric manner. So it will be a mirror image of the buy side. Thank you all for joining in. I hope you have been able to understand the logical as well as the execution part of this session involving the indicator Laguerre ACS. If you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. For further coverage of the market developments, you can check out the Dukascopy Analytics page for which the link have been provided. And to start trading or even to carry out the testing once these algorithms are ready, you will need the services of the JForex platform, so do check it out. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.